GSX is finally out for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but is it the add-on that we've always been waiting for? Hey everyone, it's Hotchmania, and today I've got a look at the new GSX Pro by FS Dream Team for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and a lot of people have been looking forward to this particular type of tool for a really long time. If you're unaware, and if you've never used any other simulators before, GSX was a really popular add-on for P3D for many, many years. GSX does a lot of things on the ground. It provides pushback for your aircraft. That's probably its most notable feature, but it has way more things that it can do other than that. It provides baggage handling, catering, refueling, and a lot more than that. There's a lot of animations, and it tries to add realism to the ground handling. Like when you're taxiing, you can actually follow a car to bring you to where you're going. Or better yet, when that car can bring you to your gate because you're brand new to the airport, have no idea where it is. This can be very, very helpful, right? And certainly some of the animations, basically it tries to recreate the life of an airplane on the ground. Things that just you don't see in the simulator and you would see if it was real life, whether it's de-icing, whether it's passengers getting on board, going off the ship, the catering coming on board, emptying of the lavatories. There's all these features. Sounds great, right? Well, unfortunately, it's not quite as baked or as good, I think, as a lot of people would have certainly hoped for. GSX coming out in this first version is off to a buggy start, unfortunately. There's been a lot of reports of issues with crashes, with animations not working correctly, and arguably even worse than that, a lot of just, I can't get it to work at all. Menus missing, the jetways going in the wrong direction, a lot of bugs. Now, GSX Pro, which is the version for Microsoft Flight Simulator, comes in at $29 US if you'd like to purchase it yourself. So I heard some things about it. I tried to give it as much of a clear conscience as I could when using it. So I installed it on my own machine to give it a couple of tries. And certainly it performs the very basics, which is I think is the most important feature, which is a pushback. It's a feature that's been largely missing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Certainly you can do a standard just straight pushback, but you want to push to the left, push to the right, adjust accordingly. You can't really do that. For a time, there was a pushback toolbar freeware plugin that worked actually pretty well until everybody discovered there was a major memory leak in it, and it's since been really gone. So as a result, there is definitely a void currently of a pushback feature. And to give credit, the pushback feature works pretty well. It offers you actually a straight pushback, a push to the left, push to the right, or a customizable option. It uses kind of the drone camera, and you've got to set it up a little bit. Unfortunately, this is like indicative of a lot of problems that GSX has, which is that it's not very intuitive off the bat. And so you got to get your keybinds right. And certainly you can spend a lot of time doing that. But theoretically, once you have all your keybinds good to go, then you can actually tell it exactly how to push back, reminiscent, if you will, of, well, of course, GSX from P3D, but I was actually thinking of better pushback from X-Plane. Regardless, it does do that. Now, is it worth it to pay $29 purely for a pushback? Probably not. That's where GSX says, okay, we're going to offer a lot more than that. You're going to offer the option of having the catering coming in, of having all these animations. So that way, when you're getting your plane loaded in, there's a lot more to it. Like the passengers coming on board and actual passengers walking onto your plane or walking off your plane when it's over. It sounds really cool. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bugs that come with it. First of all, the animations are very janky. I mean, the whole thing is just a lot of robotic movements. Again, I didn't think this was going to be Avatar by any means, but, you know, it's still very much a lot of porting from P3D. And in fact, a lot of the features seem to be really much just copies from P3D. Again, it's not the end of the world by any means, but, you know, I think the people could probably overlook a lot of the issues here in terms of it not looking as flashy as some of us would like if it actually worked. Inevitably, people run into different problems at different times. I luckily have not run into crashes, but I have run into the where the heck is the GSX menu? I can't get it to show up there. You push it, you unpush it, you push it again. I mean, I've just had a lot of issues with it actually appearing and then doing what I wanted to do. Beyond that, there's also all the other animations you can do. I actually like the follow me feature in which you tell it, to follow you to the gate. It's really helpful in airports you're not used to. I actually like that a lot, and it's worked reasonable. Obviously, it's not going to follow ATC instructions, but if you're flying offline or don't really care, you can usually follow it, and it's a good idea. And then you get a marshaller there, although I have yet to have anything remotely resembling a good taxi in. I always get a way off. It's not quite clear how that works. But ultimately, I don't even care about the bugs. I'll be honest with all of you. When I look at GSX, I look at it primarily for its best feature, which is the pushback feature. The ability that when you're at the gate to push back in a certain direction, in a certain position, and then have it actually follow that. So that way you're not manually doing it yourself, or worse yet, just going straight back because there is no option for you. And in that, it can do it. The other problem is that a lot of the other features that are there, all the animations, the de-icing, the baggage, the lavatories, the catering, it's cool, but are you really going to do that every single flight? I think most people are going to do it one time, maybe twice, and then say, I just want to take off already. I'm not sitting here for half an hour on the ground waiting for all these animations to come in there, because once they're doing them, you got to wait for them to finish. And it seems like one of these ideas I think we all think we'd like to do 100 times over and over and over again, but really don't. I don't know. I think it's mostly like stream fodder. If you're a flight sim streamer, like myself, hey, maybe that's cool to do, especially in the loading screen. But ultimately, I question the value of GSX, not because of the bugs, but because, quite frankly, I think most of the features are just useless. They're nice, but no one's ever going to use them kind of things. And at the end of the day, whether or not that matters to you, I don't know. How much do you need a pushback feature in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Can you wait for another freeware add-on, a competitor product, or just simply suck it up the way it is because you've been doing it all this time and it works just fine? And hey, that's $29 you can use for something else. It's a fair point out there. So do I think GSX is worth it? Ultimately, for the pushback feature alone, which is the thing that I would actually use 99% of the time and pretty much nothing else, I don't know that it's worth $29. Certainly, you could play the game of waiting it out, waiting for a sale. Maybe that's Black Friday or another holiday in which there's a better deal out there. But I wouldn't do it just for that. I've been going this long without it. I can certainly do it without it. I'm okay without it. Specifically, I purchased this purely for review purposes. And I'm not sure that if I had had this channel here that I would have purchased this product, because I just think there's a lot of extra features here that you're paying for that I'm never going to use. Never mind the fact that a lot of them have major bugs associated with them. That's a whole nother layer of issues altogether. Ultimately, this really boils down to how do you like the flight sim. And if you do want to have all those animations, this is your best option, and it's still going to be worth it. And I think over time, GSX will put out patches and new versions, and I'm sure they'll fix a lot of these issues and get it to a point where it's reasonable. And like I said, if you wait for a good sale, you might be able to get a few bucks off it, especially compared to what I paid for it. So this really comes down to how important is pushback to you, and will you actually use any of these animations beyond the first 1 or 3 times you actually fly? Or will you just simply say, like me, ain't nobody got time for that? Let me know in the comments below what you think of GSX Pro. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Hotchmania. We'll talk again real soon.